Hi everyone, and welcome to another one of our Lancaster Safety Webinar Wednesdays. Today we're going to be discussing the topic ergonomics. My name's Kylie and I'm here with Tyler, my co-host, one of our safety consultants here in the office.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So what's on our agenda for today? Well, we're going to be discussing why ergonomics is important, how improper ergonomics can affect you, some shocking statistics related to ergonomic injuries. We'll go through some common risk factors, how to conduct an ergonomic risk assessment yourself, and preventative measures that you can start today. And make sure you stay until the end of the webinar and we'll give you a free ergonomics poster.
Because who doesn't like free stuff?
Exactly.
So, you might be asking yourself, what is ergonomics? Well, ergonomics is the science of fitting the job to the worker and designing and arranging things people use so that the people and things interact most efficiently and safely. If workstations are not appropriately designed to be ergonomically safe, this can lead to unsafe conditions for employees. The most common type of these conditions are musculoskeletal disorders.
So you might be wondering, how can your employees actually be affected by ergonomics? One is through injuries. Employee injuries that are not properly addressed and treated can create a lifetime of pain and discomfort for your employees. The second is through quality and productivity. Believe it or not, if employees are uncomfortable and stressed at their workstation, they're likely to be less productive and their quality of work may also suffer. Employees are less likely to produce their best work if they're straining to see the computer screen or overexerting themselves. And finally, through citations and penalties. Although OSHA doesn't have specific regulations relating to ergonomics, they can issue a citation under the General Duty Clause if necessary. They've developed guidelines specific to individual industries for employer assistance. If there's no specific guidelines for your industry, there's still plenty of other resources and tools available for you.
So you might be asking yourself, what does ergonomics look at? Well, ergonomics takes a look at workstations, tools, physical conditions, and environments that employees will be performing work in. Musculoskeletal disorders, also referred to as MSDs, are injuries or pain in the musculoskeletal system in the human body. These types of injuries can affect the body's muscles, tendons, ligaments, nerves, and other components of the body. The next few slides we will be discussing some of the most common types of musculoskeletal disorders and what some of the risk factors are. So the table on this slide outlines some of the most common musculoskeletal disorders, the risk factors, and symptoms associated with them. And as you look over this table, I'm sure some of these will ring a bell that you may have heard of before. A very common musculoskeletal disorder is tendinitis, and this can be caused by repetitive wrist motions along with shoulder motions, sustained hyperextension of the arms, and prolonged loads on the shoulders. Pain, weakness, swelling, burning sensations, or a dull ache all over the affected area can be a result. Additionally, carpal tunnel syndrome, something that some people might be familiar with, is caused by repetitive wrist motions, and the symptoms include pain, numbness, tingling, and so on. Keep some of these risk factors in mind when you observe your workstations and are conducting ergonomic risk assessment, which we will be covering later on.
So on to workplace risk factors. There's a long list of motions and risk factors that can play a part in an ergonomic-related injury. Depending on the risk factor present, there's additional factors that need to be evaluated. Some of these things can include how often the movement is performed, the speed of the movement, the amount of force or exertion necessary to complete the motion, the type of grip necessary, the weight of the object that's being lifted or moved, your body postures such as kneeling, squatting, being in awkward positions, and reaching, whether this is overhead, across a table, or even on equipment. So how can ergonomic injuries actually affect productivity? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, employees who suffer workplace injuries related to ergonomics require more days off the job than those with other types of workplace injuries and illnesses. Musculoskeletal disorders average about 11 days away from work, while all other types of injuries average 8. This is nearly a 33% increase, which is very large. Did you also know that 33% of all workers' compensation costs are related to musculoskeletal disorders and account for almost 400,000 injuries every year? These injuries are also very difficult to identify and treat because the injuries are oftentimes very reliant on the employee's comfort level. It's very important to identify these disorders as early as possible because treatments become less effective the longer the hazard goes on.
Every year, employers pay nearly $20 billion in direct costs for musculoskeletal disorders. This does not include the indirect cost, which increases the total to anywhere from $45 to $54 billion each year. As you can see on the table below, indirect costs are generally more expensive than direct costs. The direct costs of an injury include things such as the medical expenses, workers' compensation, and legal expenses relating to the musculoskeletal disorder. Indirect costs, on the other hand, are often forgot about. These costs include training, replacement employees, loss of productivity, damaged equipment and property, and other issues such as lower employee morale and absenteeism, which can continue to affect you and your company further down the line.
All right, so this actually brings us to our first Insta-Safety Poll. Let's see how many of you were paying attention. So musculoskeletal disorders or sprains and strains can be caused by A, awkward positions, B, repetitive motions, C, twisting motions, or D, all of the above. So we'll give you all some time to answer and see what we get.
Seeing a lot of good questions rolling in.
All right, good job, everybody. So let's see what our answer is. You answered D, all of the above. You are correct. So that does include awkward positions, repetitive motions, and twisting motions. Great job, everyone.
The first step in reducing the amount of musculoskeletal disorders and other ergonomic-related injuries is to conduct an ergonomic risk assessment, whether that is of a physical job task that is being performed by employees or that of a desk workstation. There are guidelines that can assist you in this. The first is to conduct a thorough walkthrough of the facility or office, looking out for any potential concerns or hazards. Next, you'll want to interview employees. As they are doing the tasks firsthand, they may have a greater understanding of the potential hazards and risks. Next, you'll want to make a plan to reduce these unsafe conditions and implement control measures to reduce the hazards. And lastly, you'll want to ensure that employees are communicating any issues or if the control measures are not beneficial. And you can always follow up with monthly ergonomic risk assessments.
You can see the copies of these forms here on the slide. If you would like a copy of these, please feel free to give us a call. We'd be happy to provide you with them.
A large factor in preventing musculoskeletal or ergonomic issues is maintaining a neutral body position. And the neutral body position is a comfortable working posture where the worker's joints are naturally aligned. This reduces the stress and strain on muscles, joints, and other components of the body that ultimately lead to ergonomic-related injuries. The hands, wrists, and arms are to be kept straight, in line, and parallel to the ground. The head is in a level and upright position, facing slightly forward and in line with the torso. Your shoulders are in a relaxed position, and the arms fall so that the hands rest at the sides of the body. And you'll want to ensure that your elbows stay in close to the body and are bent between 90 and 120 degrees. Maintaining a neutral body position is one of the most important ways to prevent musculoskeletal disorders and other ergonomic-related injuries. How are you sitting right now? That's a great thing to ask yourself throughout the day if you get an opportunity, if you experience any neck pain or lower back pain or pain in the joints. You might want to focus on how you're actually sitting. Take a minute every once in a while, unclench your jaw, take a deep breath, and sit up and correctly.
All right, I don't know about you all, but I definitely shifted myself in my chair a little bit. Next, we'll go over some preventative measures that we can take to reduce ergonomic injuries. We'll discuss things like chairs, keyboards, and a proper workstation setup that will encourage good posture. There's also administrative steps that should be taken, like fitting the task to the worker and job rotation, and an emphasis on the importance of employee involvement and training.
The chair can often be the linchpin in ensuring that you're utilizing proper ergonomics. Good lumbar support encourages proper body posture throughout the day. The chair should be set at a height that allows employees to comfortably rest their feet on the ground. For some employees, a footrest should be utilized to allow them to keep this position. If you're a bit taller like myself, you may need to lower the chair. Conversely, if you're if you're a bit taller like myself, you may have to raise the chair. If you're a bit shorter, you may have to lower the chair. The torso should be approximately vertically aligned and the thighs horizontal and the lower legs vertical.
I don't know about everyone else, but I just recently got a new chair and it definitely makes a big difference. But next we'll talk about the keyboard. So you want to make sure you maintain proper wrist and arm position with proper placement of the keyboard, keeping your arms again at about a 90-degree angle. Keep the mouse in a convenient location in relation to the keyboard to avoid any unnecessary reaching. The keyboard should always allow for a neutral wrist position. You don't want your wrists to be bent up too much or down. If needed, a keyboard tray could be used to ensure that the upper body maintains in a neutral position.
If you utilize a monitor throughout your day, the monitor should be located no further than arm's length away from your desk to help reduce the strain on your eyes. If you find that it's difficult to see the computer screen, it could be very beneficial to increase the font size or utilize a pair of reading glasses. You'll want to make sure that you position the monitor directly in front of you to reduce the strain on the neck muscles, as rotation is a great way to actually stress the neck. And reduce neck strain by ensuring that the viewing angle to the center of the monitor is 15 to 20 degrees below horizontal eye level. Now, Kylie, I know this is an issue near and dear to your heart. If you utilize a standing desk, this can drastically help increase ergonomic benefits. A neutral body position comes more naturally while in a standing position, and other benefits come along with this option as well, such as an increased energy level, productivity, and a reduction of the time spent in one position can all result from utilizing a standing desk.
That's right, Tyler. I definitely love my standing desk. All right. Again, we're at our next Insta-Safety Poll. Let's see again who was paying attention. So the top of your computer monitor should be slightly higher than eye level. A, true, or B, false. All right, great job, everyone. Give you a little bit more time. Send in those answers. And let's see what the correct answer is. So if you answered B, false, you are correct.
Another key ergonomical concern is utilizing breaks throughout your day. Employees should take frequent breaks while at their workstation. About every hour, employees should take a roughly 3 to 5 minute break to take a short walk that will help reduce fatigue. If you personally feel that you can't spare 5 minutes, walk to the furthest water fountain or coffee station to top off your beverage. At least every 2 hours, employees should take a walk and stretch out their arms, neck, wrists, and their lower back. Physical stretching and mobility is just as important as eye exercise. If you spend the majority of your day staring at a screen, whether that be a computer, phone, or TV, it's very important to rest your eyes as well. One thing I like to do is practice the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something that is roughly 20 feet away for 20 seconds. The purpose of this exercise is to relax your eyes and only takes 20 seconds for you to do just that. Even if an employee has a good working posture, staying in one position for too long can still lead to ergonomic-related injuries, so it's important to get these breaks in and get up and move every once in a while.
So something we mentioned earlier is fitting the job to the worker. A common error employees commit in regards to workplace ergonomics is not fitting the job to the worker. So instead of picking the tallest employee to get objects from a top shelf, alter the workspace to limit the exposure, modifying equipment, job design, and layout and adjusting for physical capabilities of workers so that work does not cause musculoskeletal disorders. This way, a large majority of the employees are capable of performing any job task safely, not just the biggest, strongest, or even the shortest.
Another factor to consider is that of reach zones in a workplace. While performing a risk assessment, ensure that the reach zones in the station are taken into consideration. You'll want to limit the distance or the amount of times you are reaching for items in your workspace by keeping commonly used items such as your phone and paperwork in close proximity to that of a neutral position. If you find yourself overextending throughout the day, you might want to consider rearranging your workspace. Another key component of ergonomics is utilizing safe lifting techniques. First thing that you'll want to do if you have to lift an object is address the size of the load and never lift an object that is potentially too heavy. You'll want to ensure that you keep a wide base with your feet and legs and get as close to the lift as possible to avoid reaching and putting stress on your lumbar. Bend with your knees and not your back, and avoid lifting objects above shoulder height. You'll want to avoid twisting, especially when bending forward, and you'll want to utilize small steps to turn as opposed to twisting the torso. And you want to keep your elbows as close to your body as possible to prevent any overextending and additional strain. And again, never be afraid to ask for help. Ask a coworker or utilize equipment such as a dolly to move heavy objects. A great rule of thumb to keep in mind is if you lift something, lift it like an elevator and not like a crane.
Like Tyler said, keep that in mind. If anything ever is too heavy, don't be afraid to ask for help. Our next Insta-Safety Poll. Which of the following is more effective in reducing the risk of musculoskeletal disorders? A, fitting the task to the person, or B, fitting the person to the task? This is something we just went over, so I think everyone should get this one correct. All right, couple good answers coming in. Give you all again a little bit more time. All right, let's see what the correct answer here is. So if you answered A, fitting the task to the person, which I believe most of you did, very good job. You are correct.
One of the most important factors in ensuring proper ergonomics is that of employee involvement. You want to keep your employees in the know. Their involvement is very crucial in reducing the risk of ergonomic-related injuries in the workplace. Employees are performing the work firsthand and may know some of the best solutions for any issues. You want to teach and enforce proper body placement with certain tasks, utilize employees in the process of risk assessments, and again, you'll always want to encourage employees to report hazards and notify supervisors of symptoms related to any unsafe ergonomic conditions that they may run into throughout their tasks.
So I know we went over a lot of information today, and you're probably wondering, where can you get help? Fortunately, OSHA has plenty of resources to share, just like we mentioned at the beginning. They have a safety and health topic page addressing ergonomics and how to identify issues, potential solutions, and ways to control hazards, training aspects for employers and employees, and so much more. They also have a computer workstation e-tool that addresses proper working positions such as sitting or standing, workstation components and how to evaluate them. So it looks at chairs, monitors, keyboards, desks, document holders, a workstation evaluation checklist, and a purchasing guide, and the workstation environment itself. So it looks at the lighting around you, any ventilation or glare in the room. There's also resources available for the following industries specifically: hospitals, retail grocery stores, meat packing plants, electrical contractors, and that only names a few of them.
Another great resource for any concerns that you might have is right here. Lancaster Safety can conduct an ergonomic assessment at your workplace and also train your employees. We specialize in occupational safety and health nationwide and will come directly to your workplace to provide training, workplace inspections, provide custom written safety programs, help with OSHA inspections, contractor pre-qualification, and much more. Kylie and myself are just two of our team of health and safety consultants that are more than happy to assist you in any of your concerns.
So we made it to the end. Thank you all so much for taking the time to listen today. And again, as a thank you for attending our live session, we welcome you to download this free office ergonomic safety poster. This will help remind everyone in your workplace what positions will cause muscle tension and which ones to help you avoid it. There's also pictures that show a few stretching exercises if you decide to implement employee stretch breaks. If you have any further questions at all, please call Lancaster Safety at 888-403-6026. Again, that number is 888-403-6026, and we'll be happy to help. Also, you can follow us on social media for more news updates and safety information, or provide us with any feedback on either Yelp, Google, or Facebook. We truly do appreciate your time and hope you'll take advantage of our monthly safety and health webinars. Everyone's invited to attend, and they're always free. Just visit our website or click the link on your screen for more information, and make sure you have a safe day.